Hi everybody, welcome to week 3 of my weekly songwriting challenge for 2023. Awesome songs last week, brilliant stuff. One of our songwriters, James, actually put his song up. He wrote for Sarah Brightman and was contacted by another artist who had heard it, who wants to cover the song. So that's amazing, you know, just goes to show you what happens when you commit to your creativity. Also, some of you got in touch just saying you know you haven't done this week's challenge or whatever. Don't worry about that. Each week is a focuser, it's a challenge. You might just write the music, or you might write the lyrics, or you might come back to it. It doesn't really matter. It's just a weekly focuser or challenge, and you do it as and when you can. You might write a song about change, which is week 1's challenge, in May or whenever. But once you've done that, put that video link in the comments and I'll add it to the playlist, which is where James, you know, did that and an artist found his song. So we're building something here. So just do that as and when. This week's challenge, week 3, is about writing a song inspired by a book or you've read, or a book you're reading, or an author. So the first song that comes up for me when I think about that is Wuthering Heights by Kate Bush, which is a remarkable song by an amazing artist. And she imagines that she is someone in a story, Kathy, singing to Heathcliff, and it's stunning. So you might imagine that you're a character in a book you love. You might imagine you're George in George's Marvelous Medicine, or you might imagine, you know, you're a character and you might think about it through their eyes, or you might resonate or relate to a character in a book, so you might write to them. It doesn't have to be fiction. It could be, for example, the Tibetan Book of the Dead is what inspired John Lennon to write Tomorrow Never Knows. So it might be a book about philosophy or a self-help book, or you might imagine you're writing a book for Mrs. Beeton, who wrote the cookery books. I don't know, get creative. Master and the Margarita, that book inspired Mick Jagger to write Sympathy for the Devil. And the track Summer by the Strokes was inspired by the drug that's given to people in Brave New World. Brave New World also inspired the title by Richard Ashcroft. So there's, I think also Chaucer's Tale was an inspiration of Whiter Shade of Pale. So there's many songs you could look up. That Ramble On by Led Zeppelin was inspired by Lord of the Rings. So have a think about your favorite book or a book you're reading, or pick up a book that you love. Let me just give you an example of that. One of my favorite books growing up was this book, The Owl That's Afraid of the Dark. And I just started to flick through, and in the chapters it said dark is necessary, which really plucked my interest. I was like, wow, that's interesting. Dark is wonderful, dark is beautiful, dark is fun, dark is kind, dark is exciting, dark is fascinating. So that's got me thinking about, okay, the absence of light. Dark is something which you generally think is bad, but it's necessary. Why is it necessary? How can I relate to that? So that's how my brain's gone this week already, just by picking up this book and thinking about a kid's book that I loved as a kid. So you could imagine, you know, just flick through the chapter titles. Chapter titles sometimes are really good titles for songs. So as I said, you can imagine you're a character. You could write a dedication to your favorite author. You could imagine that you're writing a book yourself. You could take the inspiration of a title or a chapter title, or a theme in a book. Like you could imagine Hamlet and the themes in Hamlet, and write about the themes of a book, or go for the Bible. You know, go big. You know, go big. But you could basically find a way to write a song inspired by a book or an author, and go for it. You know, in the comments, let us know who that author is, what the book is, and get busy, get creative. Maybe reread that book a bit. When I was signed to a record label, a management team and a record label, the A&R man said to me, do you read much? And I was always a big reader, and he was saying how important it is to be a reader, because you get to read other people's perspectives. You get to see how language is used, how grammar is used. You get to kind of live inside someone else's worldview, and that is a brilliant way to kind of involve your creativity with someone else who's a creative writer. So that's this week's challenge. Songs inspired by a book you've read or a book you're reading. So have fun with it. And as always, get in contact with me. Let me know, reach out if you want to reach out. And once you've written the song, video it, put it up on YouTube. Make sure it's public. Make sure it's not made for kids, because I think there's some problem with that. If you in the channeling, in the kind of details, and then link it in the comments of this video, and I will put it on the video playlists. Really looking forward to hear what you've got to write this week. Songs inspired by books, authors, titles, and yeah, thank you very much for being here, and I really look forward to hearing what you've got to say or sing. Love, bye.